In this video lecture, we are going to study modified distribution method or MODI method as we call it. So we have learned the three methods of finding initial solution, that is northwest corner method, least cost method and Vogel's approximation method. After finding out the initial solution by any of these three methods, we check the solution for its optimality. So the method which is used to check the optimality of a solution is known as MODI method or modified distribution method. But this method can be used if and only if the solution is non-degenerate. That is the initial solution that we have obtained. First we need to check if that solution is non-degenerate. Now what is a non-degenerate solution? Before coming to the definition of non-degenerate solution, we need to understand what are occupied cells and what are unoccupied cells. So here I have taken a transportation problem and I have already found the initial solution for this by using northwest corner method. Okay, so these values which are a part of the solution, like from S1 to D1 5 units are transported, from S2 to D2 2 units are transported. So all these cells which are allocated where we have done transportation are known as occupied cells. So these are the occupied cells, these cells. So all these 6 cells, 1 2 3 4 5 6, these are called the occupied cells or basic cells. And the rest cells where there is no transportation, these cells are known as unoccupied or non-basic cells. So this is the concept of occupied and unoccupied cells. Now coming to the definition of non-degenerate solution and degenerate solution. A solution to a transportation problem is called non-degenerate if the number of occupied cells, or you can say basic cells, are equal to m plus n minus m plus n minus 1. Now what is m and what is n here? M represents the number of rows in any given transportation problem and n represents the number of columns. Okay, so when we take this particular example, here we see the number of occupied cells or basic cells are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So in this particular example, number of occupied cells, or we can say basic cells, are 6. And what is the value of m plus n minus 1 for this example? M represents the number of rows, which is 3. N represents the number of columns, which are 4 in number, minus 1. So this is 7 minus 1, which is equal to 6. So the number of occupied cells or basic cells are equal to m plus n minus 1. So both these values are same. So that means this solution is a non-degenerate solution. And what is a degenerate solution? When the number of occupied or basic cells are less than m plus n minus 1, that particular solution is called a degenerate solution. So initially whatever questions we'll be discussing the case of non-degenerate solutions, and in the later lectures we'll be discussing degenerate solution. Degenerate solution is again an exceptional case. So first we'll be discussing questions related to non-degenerate solution. So this is the concept of occupied cells, unoccupied cells, non-degenerate solution and degenerate solution. Hope you are aware of all these terms now. Now moving on to modified distribution method, what exactly it is and how it works. So this is just the terminology that we'll be using in modified distribution method. But what actually is modified distribution method? So for that we need to find out certain parameters. These parameters are the u values, v values and d values. That is why this modified method is also known as UV method. So in order to explain you how to find out u values, v values and d values for a particular transportation problem for which we have found the initial solution. So I have again taken the same example with the initial solution. So I'm taking this example just to explain you the concept of u, v and d values. Now these u values and v values we found out corresponding to the rows as and the columns respectively. That is, u values we find out corresponding to the rows. That is, here we get u1, u2 and u3. That is, for first row we get u1 value, for second row we get u2 value, and for third row we get u3 value. And v values we get, or we find, corresponding to the columns. So corresponding to first column we have v1, v2, v3 and v4. So we have to find out these values. Now how to find out these values? By using the formula ui plus vj is equal to cij corresponding to basic cells. Okay, so these are the basic cells where there is an allocation. So corresponding to these cells, we use this particular formula or rule to find out the u and v values, and we always assume u1 as 0. See, we can take any of u or v as 0, but for convenience I am taking u1 as 0. Okay. Now how to find out? I have written that corresponding to basic cells we have to find out u and v values using this formula. Now what is Cij? Cij is the cost of that particular cell. I represents row, j represents column. Okay, so like for this cell 1 cell, which is the occupied cell, this 19 is the C value. Similarly, for this occupied cell, this 30 is the C value or the cost. Okay, so for occupied cells we have to find out. So first occupied cell is this one, and the location of this cell is 1 1. That means here I is 1 and j is 1. Okay, so if to this particular cell I apply this formula, I get u1 because I is 1 plus v1 because j is 1 equal to c11. This implies that as I have taken u1 as 0, 0 plus v1 is equal to c11. c11 I know is 19. So this implies that v1 is 19. So if I have taken u1 as 0, I have got v1 as 19. Okay. Now I move on to the second basic cell. This is the second basic cell. Now what is the location of this cell? This lies in first row, second column. So 1, 2. I represents row, j represents column. Now for this particular cell, this ui plus vj equal to cij becomes u1 plus v2 is equal to c12. Now u1 is 0. V2 we don't know, we have to find out. And what is C12? C12 is the cost of this cell, which is 30. So this implies that V2 is 30. So V2 is 30. Now next occupied cell or basic cell is this. The location of this cell is second row, second column. 2, 2. So for this, the formula becomes U2 plus V2 is equal to C22. Now u2 we don't know the value of u2. v2 we have found, which is 30. So u2 plus 30 is equal to c22, and c22 is the cost of this cell, which is again 30. So this implies that u2 is 30 minus 30, which is 0. So this is how we will find out for all these cells. By using the location of all these cells for basic cells, or with the help of basic cells, we'll find out all the u and v. But this process is a bit time taking. We can directly from the table find out the u and v values. So how do you find out the u and v values directly from the table without doing all this calculation? See, I have told you that we always assume u1 as 0. So u1 is 0. Corresponding to this value, since this is corresponding to first row, so in the first row you have to look for the occupied cell. So you have this and this as occupied cell. Now corresponding to this occupied cell, your v value is v1, right? And corresponding to this occupied cell, your v value is v2. Now the rule is u plus v should be equal to c. That means 0 plus what is equal to 19. U plus v should be equal to c. So 0 plus what is 19? 19. Coming to this value again, 0 plus what is equal to 30? 30. Okay, now we have obtained these two values. We have obtained this value and this value. Now corresponding to this cell, this value 30, we see that the occupied cells are this and this. We already have this u value, but since corresponding to this v, this is occupied, so we can find out this value by again using the rule that u plus v should be equal to c. That means 30 plus what is equal to 30? 0, right? So now we have obtained this value. Now corresponding to this is occupied, so we can find out this value. Again 0 plus what is equal to 40, that means u plus v should be equal to c. So 0 plus what is equal to 40? 0 plus 40 is equal to 40. Now we have got this value. Corresponding to this, we see that this cell is occupied, so we can find out this value. 40 plus what is equal to 70? 30. Right. Now we have obtained this value. Corresponding to this is occupied, so we can find out this value. 30 plus what is 20? 30 minus 10 is 20. So we can get negative values also here. It is not mandatory that you get positive value. You get either 0 or negative or positive value. So this is how we find out the u and v values without doing all this calculation part. Okay. So we have now obtained u and v values. So we have found out the method or we have learned the method of finding u and v values. Okay, now comes d values. This is very important, that how to find out d values, because this value will decide the optimality of the solution. D, it is also called opportunity cost. This we find corresponding to unoccupied cells. Okay, and what is the formula to find d? Since we are finding d values corresponding to the cells, so I'll write it as dij. The rule to find, or the formula to find dij is Cij minus ui plus vj, or you can say Cij minus ui minus vj. So these d values we find corresponding to unoccupied cells. Unoccupied cells means these cells where there is no allocation. These are all the unoccupied cells. So corresponding to all these cells, we'll find out these d values by using the rule that dij is Cij minus ui plus vj. Now we know Cij is corresponding to unoccupied cells, that is the per unit cost which is given in each cell, and also we know all the u and v values. So we just have to put in the values and find out the d values. So again, either you can do the processing in a detailed way, or you can simply write it in the table. So for example, like this particular cell, the location is 1 3. So corresponding to this non-basic cell 1 3, the d13 value is C13 minus U1 plus V3, which is C13 is 50 minus U1 is 0 plus V3. V3 is 40. So this is 10. Or you can directly write down the D values. D values we write here. In each cell we write the D values here, as in for unoccupied cells. We'll make a sort of bracket here and we write down the D values here for unoccupied cells. And the formula to find the D values is Dij Cij minus Ui plus Vj. So for this particular unoccupied cell, this D value will write down here. So it is C minus, see for this cell, this is the u value, and corresponding to this cell this is the v value. Okay, so 50 minus 0 minus 40 is equal to 10, right? Then for this cell this is u value and this is v value. So 10 minus 0 minus of minus 10. So for this particular cell, what will be the d value? It will be 10, that is C, minus 0 minus of minus 10. So this will be 20. So you have to write down the value here as 20. Okay, now coming to this particular cell, this is C, this is U, and this is V. So 70 minus 0 minus 19, which is equal to 51. Okay, then coming to this cell, 60 minus 0 minus of minus 10, which is 70. For this cell, 40 minus 30 minus 19, that is 40 minus 30 is 10, 10 minus 19 minus 9. Coming to this cell, what is the Dij value? 8 minus 30 minus 30, which is equal to 8 minus 60, that is minus 52. Okay, so this is how we obtain the d values. Now when the solution is optimal, this is the criteria to check the optimality. But what will we do with these u, v and d values? So with the help of u and v values, we find out the d values, and these d values will decide the optimality of the solution if all d values are greater than or equal to 0, that is either positive or 0, or some positive, some 0. So if all Dij's are either greater than 0 or equal to 0, then the solution is optimal. Okay, so obviously in this particular example we do not obtain all d values are positive. This is positive, this is positive, this is positive, this is positive, but these two are negative. So that means the solution is not an optimal solution. So a detailed question we'll do in the next lecture. The objective of this lecture was just to explain the concept of basic, non-basic cells and how to compute u, v and d values. The detailed question will cover in the coming lecture.